Alright, Aries, we are back at it again with Illuminaughty Mystex. So, we are doing zodiacs. Funny story. I say I start late a lot. I know, I'm always saying, it's so late, and it's usually like 11 p.m. No big deal. Right now, it's 3 a.m. So, it's gonna be fun. I know it's gonna be fun. And I think it's gonna have some really good messages. And the thing about 3 a.m. is that, one, peak working hours for me. I mean, seriously, from like 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. I go hard. Not really done tarot at this time, but whatevs. It's also witching hour. So I think it might be something a little extra special. That being said, I think tonight I'm going to try to limit how many of these cards we get so I can get more into these cards because we kind of skipped over them last week. Okay, is that cool with everybody? Feels like it is. Feels like a good idea. We're digging this. So I'll just draw, or you can draw for me, that's fine. Okay, so we just need one for the top. Should I pull it? Yeah? Might just pull. Okay. I get very nervous when I'm going to pull cards. Also, no one has gotten the answer correct for my contest. If you don't know what I'm referring to, go check out the Synchronicity Surprise video, and you'll find out all the details about the contest I'm running. I said it was going to end yesterday, but nobody's getting the right answers, so I'm extending it for indefinitely until someone gets it right. But multiple winners are an option, so do not feel disheartened. Go check out the video, find out the rules, enter the very easy, very free, very simple contest for a sweet prize. It's a discount, not a prize. I shouldn't call it a prize necessarily. Alright, so okay, so I think this is a good place actually to stop. Now, in the past, I've said I don't like upside down cards right there, and I'll usually just flip them up when I get one. But just now, I was really like feeling it, but you know, I'll probably feel it. Just I don't want to stare at an upside down card all day, but we'll go into what it means to do both up and reverse. And then bottom of the deck is Knight of Cups. Okay, so we'll talk about that too, obviously. And let's see what I picked up. The cards which have been pre-shuffled. I always shuffle before and after all my readings, as well as during the reading, so that they're just very shuffled. I didn't pick these up, so I think I'm gonna just give them to you. I feel like I left them on the table for a reason. I do it all the time. It's usually like one, but I will honor all three of them. So we've got Behemoth, and we've got Uranome, and we've got Paiement. So there's maybe a lot going on in your work life or your finances in general right now, Aries. So we're going to see what that's about. And it's going to get a little in depth. So yeah. And now messages for Aries. Any messages from anyone, anywhere, anytime, any space, any place. Okay, we just want to see messages for Aries. Okay, that was slick as fuck if anybody saw that. That was really cool. And then we'll get more when we get there. Okay, but up top we have ancestors. I don't like how close that candle is. It's not lit, but it just is. Well, I don't know. Maybe Tim Curry's your ancestor. Okay. Do ancestors have to be passed on for them to be your ancestor? And if they're still alive, they're just your relative? I have no idea. No idea the answer to that question. Okay. So, moving on to the beginning. Moving backwards, if you will. We have the Princess of Cups, okay? So, Princess of Cups, she is basically starting her journey. Imagine that you're trying to get your mind right, and the first step is like, maybe I should go to therapy or something, right? That's her. She's like, she made the appointment, right? She's ready to share, ready to open up, ready to be filled up. 555. So that she can continue to fill, right? If it's in reverse, might be a little more resilience, might be hesitant, might be unwilling. Did I already say that? Either way, that kind of energy. So you have to decide if you are the reverse princess who is running away from your problems, or if you are facing shit head on and taking the steps that you need to take to getting in a better state. All right. We have Ace of Wands. Great card for Aries, especially just like from the start. We've got things pretty under control. When I said the therapy thing, it was just a very vague example. But the thing is here, seems like your emotions are pretty in check. You're pretty in tune right now. You're feeling, I kind of want to say deep. I feel like you're really going deep and maybe even resolving things. Maybe this is about having already taken that step kind of thing, you know? We have the Prince of Discs, okay? Prince of Discs, he is maybe not the most fruitful, okay? But he's still going to work every day. And maybe he's not very skilled, but he's trying, okay? Fire being masculine, you may be represented as the masculine regardless. There's a slight chance you might be dealing with some kind of earth sign, a sun, or a partner, but you don't really want a partner presenting as the Prince of Discs necessarily. But it's not swords, you know. Typically with princes, though, it's about the self or about someone younger in a way. I feel like I got off track for a second, and the first thing when I noticed I was off track, the first thing that came to mind was that Blind Melon song. I don't feel the sun's coming out today. I'm staying in. Ground Zero. Yeah. That song for some reason. I don't know that this is really about finances, I guess is what I'm getting at here. I don't know. A lot of times I see him as more of an investment, the Prince of Discs, making an investment, taking time into your business or yourself. But I'm getting this is more about your actual home life, staying home, maybe having to get used to it. Because even though discs are typically money in my readings, it's still earth, and earth is grounding. Earth is our planetary home, and earth signs are also most often homebodies. Okay, I personally do enjoy going out to an extent, but I can also go weeks without leaving and be fine, you know? Like quarantine didn't bother me that much. It is what it is. We have the Six of Cups. Pleasure. All right. Looking good. Looking a little yonic. Maybe lady stuff. Good things, though. Pleasure in whatever. Taking that mindset, kicking it up, and being like, I'm enjoying myself. And maybe that's going back to this home life thing, too. Is learning to enjoy yourself. And then we have Ten of Cups. Satiety. having it all. You might actually be really blessed or really lucky with your living situation, and you just have to realize that you already have everything. It can also be more in the sense of perspection as it is with cups, and you're just feeling fulfilled and feeling like, wow, I made out like a bandit. I have more than I ever imagined, in spirit too, not just at home, in yourself, in your life, right? Wha-bam. Not everything good can last, I guess. We have the Tower and the Three of Discs. Works. The Tower, I have to mention this, I feel, every time it comes up. The Tower definitely presented itself as the pandemic in the very beginning. When I was doing readings back in March, back in April, it was very obvious that the Tower was coming up that way. And it makes total sense. It's exactly a Tower moment, too, where it's like, even if you're okay, there's a lot of chaos around you. And even though there's a lot of chaos, you kind of understand it. From a medical standpoint, a scientific standpoint, a historical standpoint, it's very understood, despite its hardships that it brings. Okay? So, it could just be pandemic vibes here. If there's more going on in your life, obviously, if you're having a personal Tower moment, you'll know. I'm not predicting one. I don't think this is futuristic by any means. I think it's what's happening right now. Or has already happened. But the Three of Discs, okay, so it's very stable, very balanced. It's very kind of interesting. You have a lot of really positive energy here. It's just that you have the Princess and the Prince, which basically is saying room for improvement, more or less. And then the Tower, which again could just be the overall situation in the world. Three Discs, yeah. I mean, you can look at this however you want. Could be three in the family. Could be 3 kids or 3 people. Could be a household, even if it's roommates. It could be 3 sources of income, 3 jobs, 3 things you love. Home, family, work, whatever, you know. Whatever you have highest on your list, you have it, and it's working for you. It's a very stable situation. All right. So interesting, just swerve, right? Completely different energies. This was pretty good. I mean, you got really good cards. Ace of Wands, 6 of Cups, 10 of Cups, 3 of Discs. Those are all great. And if you're going to get a prince and a princess, you're better off getting the discs and the cups, because of the, yes, the feminine ones, but they just tend to have like a more well-behaved, well-mannered, almost, right? Situational, always, but these look great. What's this? Garbage, basically, garbage. Of 9 of Swords. Cruelty, all right. K sounds nothing like any of this, except maybe the Tower, which we just discussed is probably not even personal. But you are absolutely cutting up. I mean, it's almost like torturing yourself for some reason. I'm thinking guilt, in a sense, was the first thing that came to mind. It can be self-harm. It can be addiction. Whatever it is, it's all about falling apart on the inside. So this is not the situation you're in. This is you. Okay? Lots of conflict, but inner conflict with the self. And then the 4 Cups, luxury. Okay, well, that's even weirder. Okay? You got the 6 and the 4 and the 10. I love the way that adds up. But, like, luxury with cruelty. You kind of like it. I'm not necessarily calling it masochism, but it's interesting. And I think, touching back to the Knight of Cups being at the bottom of the deck, I feel like you are making progress and you will get here. But there is just, you know, despite how smooth things are going and how much you really are grateful, truly, the mind, excellent. Like, you're just doing really, really well with the way that you're approaching things right now. However, you also love drama or conflict or whatever it is, hating on yourself, self-deprecating humor even. Especially if there's so many cups, where we are touching on the way you think, even if it's coming up as swords also. It's just all kind of relative. And you got mostly cups in this reading. Probably more than half the cards, but I don't really want to count. 2 face down cards here. Princess of Swords. What did I just say? If you're gonna get a princess, you would rather have the Princess of Discs or the Princess of Cups, and then boom, you have the Princess of Swords, because she's the one swinging those 9 swords around. She's the one that's making your life hard, and it's you. This is not someone else. If it was someone else, this would be a 10 of Swords, and it'd be like, who is fucking with you? No, you're fucking with you. It ain't nobody else. I mean, in some instances, sure, maybe if any of these represented a child to you, if you have an air sign daughter or a water sign daughter or an earth sign son, I'll give it to you. Maybe it's not you, but most likely you. Looks mostly like you. Kind of maybe even being petty, even if it's towards yourself. Again, I feel like self-deprecating humor is a hard one. It's not necessarily, it's a habit, you know. It's not necessarily the worst thing you can be doing, but it's not being very nice to yourself. And then the Nine of Wands, strength. So you really need to trade in this shit for this shit. This is like, when things get hard, I know I deserve it. And this is like, when things get hard, I work harder. So in order to complete this transformation of going from the Princess of Cups to the King of Cups, you got to trade in the attitude. Because in your head, you are this great person. And in a way, that's the most important thing, is the way that you think. But your actions and your words contradict it, and there's something you're doing. Because again, it could be addiction, where it's like you're doing too much and you're hurting yourself in that regard. But either way, why would you even want these swords when you're wands? You're fire. Okay? Still a hard time, still problems, but hey, push back kind of shit. Yeah? Yeah? That sounds more like Aries anyway. So, look, I mean, situation overall looks good. No real complaints, but you just have to work on yourself. And everything else will just continue to be great. Treat yourself nicer, Aries. All right, we've got the Behemoth. Okay, so we're switching into work and finances, career, etc. Beware of considering natural instincts and actions in moderation as things to be scorned or mocked. Some territorial feelings, hungers, and instincts are perfectly reasonable human reactions as long as we think before acting on them. That's a mouthful. I'm glad I don't get this one all the time. That's very hard to understand for me. But it is this, Behemoth is a symbol of strength and fertility. So I think that's interesting that we left off with the strength card, and then this is representing strength also. So it might even be something about your job. You're really not digging the job, but you got to just keep doing it. Stay brave. Just trucking. Nice. Okay, so beware of considering natural instincts and actions as things to be scorned or mocked when they are in moderation. I think would have been a better way to word that. But if people are getting territorial with you, like if you're new at work or you're dealing with higher ups or people who are newer than you but have more experience than you, everybody wants to be the best at the end of the day, right? Especially when it comes to their job. They want the money. They want the recognition. Let them be that way. Okay. If somebody is like, I don't want anybody in my space, then just give them space. It's human. Okay. Don't take it personally, and don't take matters into your own hands. I believe next was Uranome. Oh yeah, that's Uranome. Okay. Beware of holding on to things past their natural end. Focus on allowing grief and loss to run their natural course. Move on to a new cycle. It's time for a new job. It's time for a new job. It's time for a new workspace. It's time for a new workspace. I feel like not all these messages are going to apply to everyone. You have to pick and choose whichever situation applies to you. I think that's part of why there's 3. You know what I mean? Yeah, move on to a new cycle. So, also, if there's a grudge or a project that didn't get finished or something you're obsessing on, it doesn't necessarily have to be quitting. Sometimes you just have to move on. Just take the L. Just keep it going. So, can't think of too many other scenarios. I think last was Paimon. Oh, fuck. Probably is Paimon. Flashy one, right? Or maybe Gamora's the Gamori is the flashy one. Okay. Oh yeah, he is the flashy one. That's funny. He has like the super grand entrance with a bunch of trumpets and shit, so it's just funny that he fell. Beware of unfavorable first impressions. Many intelligent and knowledgeable individuals are awkward or abrasive at first. As a defense mechanism, one should watch for those actions within oneself. Aries really don't make a good impression. I think that's why so many people are so quick to say they don't like Aries. I used to think I don't like Aries, and then I started to think about all the Aries I know, and I like them all a lot. So, first impressions, you may not be so good at them. Okay? You don't have to be put on the front all the time. You can relax a little and just sort of... This wouldn't be a good first impression. It's touching your face and shit. But, yeah, just lighten up and lighten up on others. All right. Let's check out messages. I feel like I'm not trying to make these super long, but I thought this would be shorter. It's already 23 minutes. So we got ancestors, the legacy of our DNA. Okay. It's time to take a look at your roots. It's time to call upon your guides and the people who are in your bloodline. The thing about ancestors for me is I feel like it's not always about bloodline, because we reincarnate so many times that I think we have way more ancestors than we tend to imagine we do, because we do think of family history when we think of our ancestors, but I think we have connections in spirit and in lifetimes with people who may not necessarily be blood related in this realm and in that realm. So your ancestors could be anyone, and you could be, in a sense, attached to anyone. So this specifically does say the legacy of our DNA, but I don't know, spirit DNA also. But it may be a sign to look into your history, look into your heritage, and really get the prayers going. You know, doing a little, not worship, but tributes. You know? And then we have Night Song, Hidden Talents. So I'm almost even guessing something runs in your family. Okay. Where you are supposed to carry on this tradition and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing because it's Night Song, Hidden Talents. So it's a talent that you have that probably runs in your family that you're not participating in. You're not doing it at all. You're keeping it to yourself, keeping it from others. And it's time that you got your song out. Even if it's not music. It's a metaphor. But I know why the caged bird sings. came to mind. Maybe you're a writer. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna do a quick check-in. I was trying to beat these under 30 minutes and I'm already at 25, so just fuck my night / morning. It's fine. Let's see what's going on. I keep getting this like ring. It comes in and then it's like this. And I didn't do messages last time, so I'm like, yeah, I gotta check in. I definitely got 25. And we got the veil. Okay, so this little hidden 333, this little hidden talent thing, alright, this is a serious aspect of your life. And the more you tap into it, okay, the more you remove that veil for yourself, the more you are going to expand and really build a foundation for yourself moving forward. Okay? This is about your future. This is your past and your future coming together to remind you of what you're supposed to be doing in the present. Okay? I swear to God, I just thought, like, I'm probably going to tap in. It's still 333, and what a long minute, and it just changed. I'm going to tap in with the ancestors for them. And I typically don't do that kind of work, but it felt right in the moment. And the only thing I heard was just, whoo, child. I don't think I've ever really even used that phrase. Okay. And I just heard that, like, strongly when thinking about the ancestors. Whoever's ancestors, you know. Jack-o'-lantern protection, okay? They're here to protect you. They really have you on a path, and not only is it guided, but it's guarded, okay? And this is also lantern, right? A jack-o'-lantern is a light, so shine from within. Let people see it. Cut holes in your walls, in your exterior, in your shell, and let some light out. Part of your hidden talents. I feel like maybe some of you are healers and you're not even like in a space to be doing that. Right? But you are definitely getting pushed towards something because you did not feel the pull or you didn't go for the pull. You know, you're like dawn, the light after the darkness. So that tower moment, it could be personal, but they are really trying to show you something here. Your ancestors, again, I don't really connect with ancestors in particular. You can maybe even the Book of Genesis might have a little more on that. The YouTube channel, Book of Genesis, not the Bible. But light after darkness. Okay, so you're really coming up on something. But if I feel like you know what it is, and I'm not here to say what it is because it's probably different for everyone. But there is some kind of thing that runs in your family that you're supposed to be doing to help you build a future and also help the people around you and bring you your true happiness. The underworld. Okay? Where all things pause and begin again. It's almost like stop what you're doing and focus. Aries. Stop everything you're doing and remember what you're here to do and what you're actually supposed to do. Especially if you have ties with the underworld. Sounds really weird, but I feel like for sure, yeah. Okay. Skull of Stars, infinite possibilities. Anything can happen. But really, with the stars, kind of emphasis on the light and the shining, alright? I feel like there's not really much more coming through. I'm probably just going to wrap it up, but I'm really just hearing, you know what to do. 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 So, again, I think it's a personal thing. It's different for everyone. But y'all got some serious work to do. It's like you got to do the work on yourself so you can start doing the work for real. Like the outside work. The healing work. The work for others. Black cat, where fortune meets opportunity. Something, it's like almost on the tip of your tongue kind of thing. All right, so I think I'm just gonna wrap it up there. I feel like they didn't say much, but that's all they were trying to say. Ghost, regret. If you don't do it, you're gonna be haunted by it forever. I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. I really think you know. Okay, so I think that's gonna be it. Last minute messages. I just hear, no ma'am. I feel like I'm hearing something a little more personal than that, but that's okay. Eternal love. Love is love is love, and it transcends physical death. Just to full circle it, okay? Talk about your ancestors. That's what I was saying. You can reincarnate in so many different ways. It's not necessarily always just your bloodline, right? And even if it is your bloodline, you have no idea what it's like from a historical standpoint either, so it doesn't matter. You've got people rooting for you everywhere around you, in places you can't see, places you may not be able to connect with, places that you don't even maybe know about, but they are present and they are waiting for you to make a move. So I really hope you do, Aries, and I hope this message was for you. Okay, much